Hey there folks, welcome back to video 5 of this Python Pygame project, making Othello, otherwise known as Reversi. In the last few videos we've put together the game board, we've put together the game grid, we've put together the logic, we've included the images for the tokens onto the game board itself. We've created some functions and methods that actually show which cells can be selected, and if those cells are not valid tiles, then they will not be selected and you will not be able to insert tokens onto the board. What we're going to do in this video, a lot of the major work for this video has already been done in the last video. Like I said, starting at the last video, that was actually a lot of the game logic being done there. I'd say a fairly large portion. Obviously, we've still got the computer AI ahead, but we'll get to that. So what we're looking at now is we can look at the game board. Let me just open it up and we can see what I'm talking about. Let's just go view. Let's just make the appearance presentations. We can all see what's going on. Let's just open up the game board again. You can see what's happening is, so now we can see which tiles can actually be played. And as discussed in the previous video with the methods that were created, it's white player's turn to play. So that means that this tile here is a valid tile that can be played because there is a black token next to it, and then it's ended by a white token at the end. So if I go ahead and select that tile, the issue is this token is supposed to then change over to my color or the player one's color. That is how this game is played. And at the moment you can see currently it's not switching over to my time. I'm going to print the game grid and you can see that tile still belongs to the computer player. So we're going to go ahead in this video and build the functions and methods to make sure that switches over and that the animations actually play along, so you'll be able to see the token switch from white to black or black to white. So let's get cracking. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our game and we're going to go to our input. Now, as I mentioned just a minute ago, we did a heck of a lot of the code, the logic code, in the previous video, particularly when it comes to these tokens. However, the video was getting a bit long, so I thought it would be best we cut it off and carry on. So here in our input function, in the main Othello class, here we would check to see if it's in the valid cells. Then we would say, okay, well, it is in the valid cells if yx is in valid cells, self.grid.insert token. The very next thing we actually need to do, and this is where it's great because we did this in the previous video already, is we're going to create a variable called swappable tiles. And those swappable tiles is going to be equal to self.grid.swappable tiles, right? Because we already built that method in the previous video. And we're going to give it the y, we're going to give it an x, we're going to give it self.grid.gridLogic, and then we're also going to pass it self.currentPlayer. Alright, so that's going to return us a list of all the tiles that should actually be swapped over. Then we're going to do is we're going to say for tile in swappable tiles. So now we're going to loop through the swappable tiles list, and we're going to call the method on each grid, on each tile. We're going to call the animate transitions method. Right. Self.grid.animate transitions. And we give it. Okay. So we don't have that method as yet, so we need to go ahead and build it. So we're going to go down to our grid class. And down in our grid class, we're going to build this method. We're going to build this method down here, just below the insert tokens. So we're going to say define animate transitions, right? And we're going to pass it two arguments. We're going to give it the cell and we're going to give it the player, the current player. Right, then we're going to go, well, if player is equal to 1, right, we're going to say self.tokens cell. cell 0, cell 1, so that's the X and Y, so that's the dictionary, dot transition, right? And if you remember, when we created the tokens, we created a method called transition. However, we never finished that method. So let's go down to our tokens quickly and let's finish that method. It's very straightforward. In our defined method, transition method, we're going to go with, okay, we're going to pass it the transition. No, come on. We're going to pass it the transition images and the token image. Right. So what we need to do is we're going to say for I in range 30, self.image is equal to transition images I floored by 30. Right. And self.game.draw. So we're going to update the draw method every time the image changes. We're going to say self.image will be equal to token image. So what we're doing there, I range 30. I'm just thinking we're refreshing the draw method every 30 times in that count, 1 to 30. Whereas we should possibly not do it that much. We could probably do this better. If I floored by 30, no, module by I in range 30. Ah, that's where I was going wrong. See, that should be a 10. That's why it didn't make sense to me. So if I module 10, right, is equal to 0, then we should only do this. So basically, as it's counting along as I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? I'm just going to make the range 31. So as it gets to 10, if I module 10, modulus by 10, so if 10 goes into 10, there's nothing left over, it's 0, then it should update the image to the next image. That should still be floored by 30. So it'll be 0. Starting with 0, then 10 will be 1. No, 10. Is that right? Where are we? So if we get 10, 10 divided by 10 is 1. 20 divided by 10 is 2, 3, 30. You see, because we were getting 31 now. So you would have had 0. Okay, so that should stay 0, 30. No, here's what I'm going to do. I think this should maybe go there. Right. And then I plus 1 modulus 10. So it'll be 0. So it'll be 1 all the way up to 10. Then we must do the update. 20 and then 30 will be the final update. Okay. Let's just come back to this just now, if it's not working properly. So anyway, we've just built our transition method. Sorry, I don't think we should be calling the draw method 30 times every second kind of thing, So I just wanted to change that. See if it makes what kind of effect. Again, it's not something that's going to make a noticeable effect, but we shouldn't have it running over and over and over again. We'll have the computer doing unnecessary things. So in my class token, in my where are we? Animate transitions. That's where we are. So let's go back my tokens. Animate transitions method. We want to say transition. We're going to pass it self.transition. Remember, we have to pass it the image list. Transition white to black. Self.white token. Right. Else, if it's not self.player1, it's going to be player2. It's going to say self.tokens cell 0 cell 1 dot transition self dot transition, not white to black, now it's going to be black to white, self dot black token. Right, so let's call that animate transitions method. Let's go all the way, we're going to go all the way back up to our input method. So there at the top there, self.grid.animate transitions. Self.grid.animate transitions. Right, we're going to pass it the tile and self.current player. Okay, and the next thing we want to do is we just want to update the actual grid logic as well. Tile 0, tile 1 will then be multiplied equal -1. So what should happen now is we should be able to, we should run the game. Now if I select this square, this tile should switch to white. Let's hold thumbs. That was incredibly fast. Black, white, barely see it. That was very quick. You can see it, but it's so fast. Sure, it's fast. Okay. So we're going to fix that in a moment. Just think to yourself, how do we fix it? With the time. Alright. Alright, so let's see if we can fix that quickly. We're going to go into our Othello method. Underneath our self.current player, we're going to create another little attribute called self.time, and that's going to be equal to 0. Right? Self.time is going to be equal to 0. Okay. Then we're going to go to our input method, our input, and here underneath our self.current player. There we're going to say self.time will be equal to pygame.time.getTicks. Right? Okay. Right. So the problem we're having is that if the white transition is quite good, but the black transition looks all funky. See how it's like jumping all over the place. Now the reason for that is actually not the code itself per se. I'm going to go take it out to where the actual view appearance. Okay. So if we look at the actual assets, we have the white to black, right? Starts like that, then like that, and like that. However, the black token is full. So when we're running the code, we go like that. Should be okay. It should be like that, but in reverse. So it should be going from black to white 1, but it is doing that in reverse. You see, I got myself confused again. It's not the black to white tokens, it's actually the white to black tokens. So it's actually these ones that are the issues. So it's the white token converting to black. Right? But this should actually be in reverse order because it's transitioning this way. So it should actually be black to white 3, black to white 2, black to white 1. So it should be in reverse order. So in order to fix this, I'm going to just fix the actual file name. See what a difference that makes. 3. Just going to put a 0 in it for now. Refactor. Okay. 2 remains 2. And then this one, we're going to rename this file to, this one should be 1. Right. And then this one, refactor, rename, it should be 3. Refactor. So if I have it right, we should now be able to run this code. The black to white is now swapped. Now they're both doing it. You see now I've gone and changed the wrong ones. Okay, no problem. We can fix that. So refactor, rename. So that was right. That must be 3. Just gonna make it a 0. Refactor. That one must be 1. File name now. We're changing the actual file names. Because I've got them the wrong way around. Okay, but these ones are fine. So now it should actually be the white to black. Refactor, I'm going to rename. This one should be file 3. And this one should be file 1. 1. Right. And then this one can be refactor, rename 3. Right, if we run the code now, smooth transition, smooth transition. Yeah, sometimes it can be really something as small and silly as that, and you can spend a long time looking for it. Thankfully, you found it this time fairly quickly. Right, coming back to our code, I just want to go back to here, view, I want to view it as a presentation mode. Okay, so what's just happened is we've now actually added the animations to our game. So if I go switch that now, and that, we should have -1s at the top, 1s at the bottom. If I print our grid, it's been updated on the game grid as well. So far so good, man. We technically speaking have a working game. We can play, it works, the tiles are updating, the grid changes, everything seems to be working as it should. It's actually cause for celebration. Yes, I'm abusing the buttons, so sue me. Right. Now. Right. We fixed that problem. There's just 2 things I need to go through with you quickly. While I was looking to debug that problem, I did change one thing. I want to show you now what it is. So if we go down to our class token class, in our transition method, the one that we just created, this little thing where I included that little line, I'm going to take that out because it doesn't actually update the images. So the image actually needs to be updated regularly. If that doesn't happen, you won't see the smooth transition, and that's a bit of an issue because that's kind of the point of the whole thing. Okay, the next thing we need, there's one more thing I want to do in this video. It's a small thing. Excuse me. Alright, my nose has now decided to give me hell. There's just one more thing I wanted to do for this video. If I have it correct, I just want to find out what it was, where it was that I wanted to do. It was a small thing, it was really not big. It was what was it? Where was it? No, No, there's nothing more in this video. Everything else is now for the next video. The draw grid BG, that's next video. The next video, that can be the next video, that should be for the next video, that should be for the next video, next video. Yes. So if we come down to our class, our grid class, here at the bottom where we draw grid, where we actually physically draw the grid for move and available moves. What you'll notice so far, well, that's the wrong one. What you will notice so far is that now it's the player 2's turn. You can still see which tiles are selectable. We don't want to have those squares visible for player 2. So what we're going to do is now we're just going to add a check in our draw grid over here, right underneath over here. And we're going to say if self.game.current player is equal to 1. If that's the case, then we will draw this. Right. That's going to be it for this video. I'm going to go see what's up with my nose. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. And if you would like to see more stuff like this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let me know down in the comments how it's coming along. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers for now.